Nipa ya wo nenam a woyi wo yam na woyi wo trim na ka wasem nyina tie no hwede ono so dwene ma wo ye obokobokoboko na so nya de ade bi hye ne nsa wo de aka wo se gya na wo firi ho a wo sem ka se meni atechew wo me yama de no a me de asha nsa se o hwe hama me no hwe de wo ti ho a wo ye anuanom si enya we no wo ya mem na se sia na se be ye de a ene ebebre yie pa enti na tete aka kire huriye se mimi nkam tirimu asem nkyerɛw na me kose e o mitirim sa na wiase abrabote enti ene de yen yadwene ene de susuo no a o de wadwene bia no obeka kire wadamfo no ya hwani ye kakra efise na damfo nyina ene ya damfo pa.
All right. So once again, in Chakese Nkoma Obibiara, Osha your radio on this particular platform, Pinaxtv. Now, the update Bibremo on this particular platform about untimely demise and death of Apostle Safo Kantanka. Now, me know say no more details are coming out because apparently, seeing Edikandi two journal. So uti owune na, which is the 14th of a year. September 2025, which is a Sunday. But they are Papa Nubuyan aired the 11th of January, the 11th of September 2025. That was last week Thursday. This week Thursday, just 3 days ago. So the big question is, what really did happen? We are learning say they had to do some amamreni amane, not amamre say abosom sem they be, Christo asafo asore no omo ha omo eye omo ne omo hihye ne manema nti asore mpanifo ne ebusuafo they are just say eba out na was say omo man say nyina ate no. What's this particular Sunday? Now, Mino Kasano. Ghanaians are now reacting to the death of Safo Kantanka because beginning information about what people were seeing and what most people woman almost share begin normal pie so a fake news a clickbait, but now we are confirming it again because even a teacher for near my penny for be I started so the react to the death of Safo Kantanka. Now before I bet to ask I share a couple of videos Osha has say if he Sarkodie was reacting to the news. According to Sarkodie, Nipa Bako wo Ghana onyi tamano thema or aspire to be a rapper. Na onim se nipa no dachi bia no obeya ade a obetima se so man no anaso ye bibi obe so man no Safo Kantanka. According to Sarkodie, se Ghana for ye dream and si 10 Safo Kantanka no 1,000. The unhu no and what he believed no na me no ye because Sebu are draining Yansa Yankupon the man no a song and a sound so down song. Now Sarkodie Root said, rest or Papa, a true star of Africa has fallen. Apostle Safo Kantanka. So you could see clearly here say Sabra Minuka say even Sarkodie is saying said there be issues power. I just say and even far from that, many people are reacting to this news. We are learning very soon the president of the Republic of Ghana will also be reacting to this news because Osha TV3 for posted said founder of Kantanka Automobile and Christo Asafo Mission, Apostle Dr. Safo Kantanka has passed away. The Safo family and the Christo Asafo Church confirmed Apostle Safo died peacefully on Thursday, September 11, 2025. So, in some nam from Omuso, Papano, Yarash Debi, yes, peacefully. So, Obi wini yes peacefully, which means a nipanu wono, a boko, either say wufi, and I say a natural causes. Now, in some way, in our course, there are questions about the age of Safo Kantanka. Minoka saying we are learning that the age of Papa Wei and Safo Kantanka was around 77 years. And now Osha go cry now. Apparently, Owono, Ebusianfono, echo low key because someone person amount for the ebete. But then what you see here and to be able to screen so how Google for any also Wikipedia edit the real age of Safo Kantanka about. You are learning the real age of Safo Kantanka is somewhere in the late 70s, and they are was on the 11th of September 2025. This is coming from Wikipedia. Now very soon there will be able two screens also for you to also see, because oko a year approach memu US the richest man in the world or ye innovator I friend of Elon Musk. I throw be our social media about Papa I friend Safo Kantanka, because who search Safo Kantanka our Twitter, which is now X. Ubemu say or Patch say a great inventor has died. Ain't be the number two screens no so. For you, so great inventor now or can or say or a Ghanaian great inventor, which means no apart from Google and also Wikipedia. Affirming say there's a great man indeed. Your friend is Safo Kantanka. No? Elon Musk is also saying say yes, ye ban ubia or ye great inventor or the bema Safo Kantanka. Let's put this on the screens. It will share where we Wikipedia ho or say Kojo Safo was born on the 26th of August 1948. Bekwai in the Ashanti region, and time no wuye na day no wuye was 11th September 2025. Age and now we 77 years. Now your basro kakra, one of the things you also see here, apart from the age, ye can 17 no. Adia omo edit omo de to say they are known what he's known for. Sorry, in social occupations, entrepreneur, inventor, pastor. So Wikipedia and Kasati say papa no. He is indeed everything a Ghana for year can. And now Omocha say yes, and now we active 1971 to 2025. And also known for founder of Kantanka Automobile and Crystal Formation. So clearly, you could see say idea we are if you Wikipedia however or Siena any Wikipedia, it tells you say people are saying say no, Safo Kantanka or you'll be a just say born home modern pa Ghana any Iwiasa Fanina. Just say Osha or you be his word celebrate. Now, there's a video I share because in same Bibri, APM with sa niwu in same way who are eba. But before then, son Amidi can edu to Jan Oko Exa, which is Twitter, formerly Twitter, which is now Exa. Osha today's news, they're done number one in the whole of Ghana and even trending elsewhere in the UK and the US. No, I say Ghanaian inventor Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka dies at 77. So it's no news, say Papa or a great person or a great man of God. But then a year yadi nyina a year ajagraja edin simbi ababe tuja okan ansa na Safo Kantanka ewu, because ushe video ho hwe na opache say yen fasa tape into na dachi yembo enko tin se majagraja de tuja e ba e beto aso
montwe sa yi we si mfanto da papa nyame fasa ma da papa na beto fom nsu beto 3 days monjo tonto nsu beto 3 days bebi amode ne be hye no asase be sa bebi nsu nda
Daguraja.
me na make a plane
The Endino and my babo.
me na make a
So
plane
Asama
nsu beto na miensa
3 days.
solid monjo tonto solid
Dintia.
Soon, no guys are not soon. Really, and the same thing happening. So, you could different cancer be a. What's been free? When you're actually free, Yamia. Let me cast a break.
In sober
And so, be more size now. In so, 3 days. It's not going short on a grand pie. The school, see.
And a baby.
I didn't shadow. Someone see no. What they look show up assassin, I did not show. Somebody was sure somebody was from a big. No, we go send a TDB, no problem. You will be a best of us of. How best a moral grounds now. How best a holy grounds no. What is Apostle Kojo Safo? Soon sorry. None say soon sorry. Look at what I'm saying. Umoduku. Umuase. Soon sorry. I say. Soon what the year man.
I think
It's my interview. I'm not Papa expert. interview. Ghana, is it Ghana One TV or something?
I saw the video.
Yes, the viral.
So that was in Sema Jagraja the Tuja, and let's see, sir, Papa Nuwu also who on the September 11th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Suato, and then in Suto, and then in Suto. 11 so nsuo toy, so it tells you say in Sema Jagraja kano say no kribi ewom or no e pass papa no or spirit na Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka okay bibi ansa na obefi atiasefo asase so and ebro wu ye no sa interview we no e trend e wo social media yenhwe ye ba ye beto aso.
When it comes to funding, obi so mu abai so mu
anu de me ankasa no me wo afuo bebrebe na nsa kura no a me ya me de balan kwa me na hasa 300 na me ya body nso so ahemi 200 anu na me ye na mo anantwie nso mako eni si 1.6 na mo nyari ram enti eno mana na me ye ababie ni wo mo abaso ababie ni fa wa ba no yi skama me da anu die nso nkidudu enya me maba mu me ye adwuma ndi aboa.
He's talked about supporting his business with his farming. He does a lot of commercial farming. Apostle, you are producing vehicles, you're producing electronic gadgets. Why are they not on the Cantamanto market? Why can't I get one at Malcolm probably?
I'm saying before no we are the end say enye sisi a na say and so over China for ni we nko na omukai omudi nkai e ko na chiansa enti na me ya me sohwa chese me try na me hu safe de me na me ya ma de me gitum se eye na nkankane no dia ka me ye ya pa me de baba bonten na mo ya nya ye nkofo ho asemti se ya kan yo oboni aya ndi ho hyen anyo de be ya ancha ne de obepe na me de ndi cha ompe enti na ama unya na be kakra no ebebu so se kwa mbe ye dia san ko pete na ayi no adawia no me ka pick up so and afi the anunsu so e ko mu amofra du oba fo no so SG and anunsu so bi na me be ye enketwa anunsu so salunka
Enti be busu wo market. Oh, why you research ni na?
O ma de hu no ma me hiya no ade ba
I
So yeah, sad news, but unfortunately, this is how we remember Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka. So my own comment in the comment section as near consent for us, you be read the comments now. Marion, or I don't know who Marion is insulting, but please don't insult anyone. And a Rose who say hello Rose. So young consent for us, so because you have a lot of things to talk about right here on this particular platform. All right, so moving on to other issues, Oliver Barker-Vormawor. Now, Papa, activist, Obeka said during the previous administration, during the previous NDC administration, MPP administration, Papa cheno. So unkaina, I mean, I will say, and maybe a chemo not you will be a friend fix the country. Ane Akufo-Addo be di ade one time the first time ani mu be ye den no fix the country na say amount for back together some be demonstrate ene obehu eye oketichi FIFA wom ene obehu eye Captain Smart ewom obehu Oliver Barker-Vormawor wom obehu eye Ralph ane Ralph dan the custom me eye Ridge Hospital obehu ni wom. All these people are moving about together to do fix the country. But then Captain Smart afane kwan, Oliver Barker-Vormawor afane kwan. Okate FIFA afane kwan. Ena rap so ayeden afane kwan. Na that sorry ya rap die any Ralph Captain Smart any Oliver Barker-Vormawor yenim say ase omo politics na so omo activism omo ye no yenim say it shifted towards the National Democratic Congress. So papa no na de bi oka Mahama na ye obi tima sesa kro no Ghana for ye man chance Let's give Mahama a chance. Mahama is the way, is the light. One can send baby. But now that's sorry, yeah. This particular Aden supporter, now no, yeah, no NDC administration, MPP administration for omoche now. UK government the letter basi because Oliver Bakavomowo or Sebio Onyeni Paketwasa or a UK citizen. Or UK citizen, so shall not say it was no joke at all. But near that sorry, yeah, Oliver Bakavomowo, the Simbia Babetuja say, Mahama asate ya dia. Mahama mamuno. It is a camera a year kunkrasi and kufuadu. Remember, say, just last week, and then for started so Moka said they don't want to be part of Mahama's administration again. Nipo di kan sa seven. Martin Pebu anu in Sipo, and another stand supporter, pushi ye, Emma, John Dramani Mahama, Eba Bemuno, or no so party say, Sena Niema Kone pa dear Charlie. No, in Imguasia and Fatalka Niba. It's also now, aside from that too, the big news is that same Nipeya ye can one say no. Or Sansuba be leading a protest, a demonstration against John Dramani Mahama. This is the first protest. The first protest too. Ombabeye against John Dramani Mahama eba bemun. The first major protest enunye. If you're wrong kasani nipa wa your friend Oliver Bakavomowo. Now the Oliver Bakavomowo a shaking for because are very popular. I'm telling you, are very popular within the NDC circles too, or you'll be a man for Penasem. Or see in 2028 he will be running for office. So Mahama no send an earmark on one shot. The 2028 term crowd because popularity of a pay ede bano and also ye pa. You ever went to screen also. If you are not share in some of what kind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It's party in the according to him no. Number beje party is see omo nine so because Mahama DBT. Mahama now is power drunk. Or say, I think I'll be running for office in 2028. Shalom. Shalom. Now I just peace. Shalom. Peace. Now, or this same way be too Jano. Many people were thinking it is going to end there. And also they be maybe cause within the National Democratic Congress in Pinifo say one kasa utiwa eyiwe yibone. Se one kasa utiwa eyiwe yibone nti obekasa ede na obeka or purchase sisia no niema na ekoso no enye titiri anyhow Mahama weaponize the justice system against his political opponent. According to apapeya ye kana asemi no Oliver Bakavomowo no party say debi Mahama, we did not vote you in power to come and do this. Now they say trying yemu nsun kra ne say wo John Dramani Mahama oba ya be ku galamsey a oba be ka che say galamsey no ntimi enye the end declare a national emergency. Inti ni sembebre a wo kan ye ne ade say oba ba be ye no what like na odwin say who were you trying to like lie to? Now if I went to screens so you'll be shocked or say okay, I don't think that this will be the first one I'd like to read. I mean read the second because second one na all cite abronye no post here or see no the Obaba running for office. Or say the fact that Abronye keeps getting remanded over a common misdemeanor is an affront to all our right. To our party say the fact says Sisia Abronye ye didn't be court for misdemeanor. Misdemeanor is why ya dear attitude na nye akwes we depend mu bi atem. Enu ti no ye de wa court and ye de wa ko jail la e wo se ye no. Unkwa de ye mpese be ma obil. Adan ya misdemeanor na etucha na sabi wo mo chichoku nipa kra mo mu bill. How much more Abronye? Into our also say we should all be afraid by the constant cheapening of our constitutional rights to personal liberty. Mahama, please listen. Or Pacha said, even though no Oliver Bakavomowo, he was one of the people who are pushing here for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to come. Ghanaians have to be afraid because Mahama use the law for no any personal liberty. But yesterday they were busy cheering when it was me. So today you are also doing the cheering when it is them. Till the news is around both. Or say till the noose is around both your own neck. You without political supporters or money, then you will be in my inbox asking for pro bono services. Or party say and then DM NDC for party say yen fa nya bronye, but nanu a MPP for chain no de na NDC for say enye benne esan say enye NDC ni ye MPP ni nti no de enye ye nyina yin som twetwe yin die hurusie eno na Oliver Bakavomo wo e ka say yen ka no kure wom Mahama ojimi. Mahama is fooling, Mahama is deviating, Mahama is weaponizing the justice system. And even far from that, no, one more mutiano, and ne enoma buying power no a dane. Into a china party any power, many a chick Kevin Taylor, near chick, one more year NDC loud mouth or more casawa barefoot in 10 feet years. Would you also come and say it's no good? Because the whole year be an MP before so much time could you. Yo, our courts are the weakest link in our democracy. They enable the politics of vengeance and irresponsibility. Oliver Bakavomo party say courts, Ghana courts, no, are the weakest link to democracy. A back kebima min kebia, a dear ma kebima min kebi engine so no. A year your court system are weak because kebima min kebi no courts no make sure say kuyi. They are the weakest link to our democracy. When we see that our courts lack the backbone or independence, don't jubilate. Pray without ceasing. And opposite and you say your courts no. Omunia wonding any echidom pair umbitimide bibia. Yen starting yensu. Because politics, any politicians, they will use their power and they will use the courts and the law to their own advantage and their selfish interests. Now, also can be bit or say, I completely realize people's action. It is difficult to sympathize with those who orchestrated a focus ordeal and cheered on the treatment of protesters and journalists. But trust me, it will be naive or navite, I don't know how you want to put it, to look the devil in the eye and say to her, I'm better than you. When Christ said, turn the other cheek, he wasn't being naive. He was being God. To be God is to go high when they go low. So Oliver Bakavomo narrative, and now he's going on the same tangent. And now Andrea may patch say NDC for patch say the idea it is high time that they use or set a precedent. Say buy an incrophony ye to show you say in brand this we are safeguarding the constitution and the law. But then MPP for AUSU, NDC for AUSU to their own advantage. Why? Because Oma Babemu Ominya overwhelming majority. Now, Omuri Officer 4 years is just around the corner. Right? You forgot him. Yes. Now, Papa Amane Siwa, Papa said 21st of a year, September. Yeba Beye Galamsey protest. Kesiepa, the biggest in this country. According to him, the entire protest is because John Dramani Mahama Nanwa Ubeye meet the press. Some meet the press here by be selective questions near the idea wow G questions I was person answer no. Edu Galam say so no or see only mean declare national emergency because declaring national emergency mere paperwork and you who near somewhere. Meanwhile, the Ghana Water Company recently Omodi say they want to increase the charges and the taxes by 225%. Why? Because in Sona urban are you think to start the machines and whatever and nyanya the idea film no a more cost, electricity na more cost, chemicals na more cost because untimi fa science of fin enye den enko amanfo fie ena baby enso ni fie yensu ni ade a airba ni nyina eye nkofo de cyanide mercury a frame aye galamsey I say enso ni nyina because of that no they need more money and anything they want to increase water bill. Mahama be kama yinti declare a national emergency. Mahama said it is just a mere power. Inti Abranti said on the 21st of September, Ghana for your call pilgrimage. Yes, you can't pilgrimage. Not to say Muslims for a year more come Mecca and it be too bata akwa ye bibi. Now aside from that too, osanso the betu social media say protest no ebe kwaso no. Stop Galamsey now. And yes, stop Galamsey protest. Stop Galamsey now. Or see poison for good. Mahama and Namamu, they are poison for good. Now, do you know what is really shocking in all of this? The people of Mahama Bemun, they are the same people revolting against him. Oh, Martin Pebu. Oh, we. A month will be asked to take Kasa Mahama. 8 months need ye. Which are baby our mamuni kono. It is not helping. Baby our mamuni ko as a president is not helping. And now Oliver Bakabomo, aside all things, he said he is going to contest. President, MP, minister, we don't know. But he himself be contest here. Minyaba ma team enye the New Patriotic Party because New Patriotic Party ombeka sisi ano omonye den New Patriotic Party ombeka sisi ano omonje no. Yes, that's exactly what is really going on. Now, yenhwe ye betwa so be hu senkofo bibre the comments aba omope Mahama asem de omso omontia sa na Mahama yes Oliver Bakabo mo also about the protest. That is exactly what is really going on. My concerning this issue because definitely Niema Bibiri wa I was say then you can want some. What do you think about this? And also sina midi can catch on Mahama na mamu ni si ano bibit ma confirm say there will be a protest on the 21st of what? October, the 21st of November, September 2025. Yebeye stop Galamsey now protest. This will be the latest of the protester Koso enye asemketwa. So ensem bibri a chese Koso mayinya wadwenche concerning this particular issue. But before then yen kwhwe Kristo Asafo ye papa ni video baako ye babaka we have news on Otumfo's son. Otumfo yese ne bana ko fail exams. In some way video ye ba ye beto aso.
So mu abai so mu
anu de mi ankasa no de wo afuo bebrebe na nsan kura no a me ya me de balan kwa me nya hasa 300 na me nya body enso so ahem 200 anu na me ye na mo anantwie enso mako ahemi enisi 106 na mo nyan ram enti enoma na me ababie ni wo mo abaso ababie ni fa wa ba no yi skama me da eno de enso infidido enya me maba me hu ye adwuma am de aboa.
He's talked about supporting his business with his farming. He does a lot of commercial farming. Apostle, you are producing vehicles, you are producing electronic gadgets. Why are they not on the Kantamanto market? Why can't I get one at Melcom probably?
You say yeah before no we are there na say enye sisi a na say enso so over sana for ni we nkwa na omuka omudi nka ye na ko na ti ansa enti na me ya me sohwa chese me try na me hu safe de ni ana me ya ma de legitum say eye na nkankane no de akamnya ye ya apam de baba bonten na mo ye ni aye nkofo ho asemti se kan yo obonya ye ndi ho hye ani ode be ya ncha ni de obepe me de ndi echa ompe enti na ama unya na be kakra na ebebuso ze kwa mbe ye dia sanko ntepe no ayenu abawi ano na capital so no ana afi de anu nso so ayekro ho amofra bi oba for no so asiji ana anu nso so na me be ye nketwa no nso so salunka okay enti bi be busu wo market why you researching
so that is a Safo Kantanka. Now you better any videos no baby as time goes on, but then before then the yan so me no can say information be about be to just say Otumfo or say to two ne ba be ma baako or very popular any Kumasi any win V8 so one a small boy police for the chia near so 2472 okoye den ani ba ne se okwakoto yogurt ane money be what or take okosro ane na ene ye da sorry ya information nam abefo ntintan video so pa say papa ni abranti do bar exams amount for etro ansa na o ma be ye lawyer no papa ya ni yes ono ye se SRC president to said ye no yes okotru obi a wa fairly poto amana pass enuti no there is pressure on him to resign as SRC president to said with immediate effect because ebani said na wo udi edim no exams no wako fail na of course obo say one more me dey san same we ebe tu dwan same bibli wo hwe ha or say it was an honor on otro we ye fe nana opoku ware. It was an honor to meet with the president of the Ghana Bar Association. Thank you for a gracious and positive dialogue. In the same way, and the betu dwan. Now, on this same way, betu dwan, and I Kevin Tilla says sumuje. It is about Kevin Tilla to tuja by betu aso.
They say Otufo's son has failed law school exams. Is under pressure to resign as the SRC president. This one I need to confirm. I say in Canada Rosa. The Otufo's son has failed law school exams and is under pressure to resign as SRC president. Messiah, look into that for me. In Canada, we judge in the Sunday me. I'm Supreme Court judge by Madam. Oh, Ethiopia on the Sunday me. As a former Supreme Court judge. I'm a former Supreme Court judge. My body a very vocal man. He used to be a Supreme Court judge. A very vocal man, yeah. Or can have been every time. Madam for a former Supreme Court judge. So Otufo's son has failed law school exams, and that he's under pressure to resign as the president of. Rather than honor your Lord, by Lord, I don't. This one there, I don't agree. My Lord, this one there. My Lord, this one you need to elaborate. Yeah, let's move. We'll deal with that later. Now, they say Otufo's son has failed law school exams. Is under pressure to resign as the SRC president. This one I need to confirm. I say in Canada Rosa. The Otufo's son has failed law school exams and is under pressure to resign as SRC president. Messiah, look into that for me. In Canada, we judge in the Sunday me. I'm Supreme Court judge by Madam. Oh, Ethiopia on the Sunday me. As a former Supreme Court judge. I'm a former Supreme Court judge. My body a very vocal man. He used to be a Supreme Court judge. A very vocal man, yeah. Or can have been every time. Madam for a former Supreme Court judge. So Otufo's son has failed law school exams, and that he's under pressure to resign as the president of. Rather than honor your Lord, by Lord, I don't. This one there, I don't agree.
So that is the information concerning Otufo's son. I'm for patches. There's pressure at the Ghana bar because and I say sukua yinuanum a lawyers for moko because abranti ya oye omu president no ade ana exams anko wo so otro ana omu tro ansana at the end of the day no wa obekọ eyi no ubenya law ho kwan na so benya obetimenya akwanya akusua law no sa ba entrance exams no papi ekoya we fairly poto we failed no and information eba say based on this particular thing no there's pressure on him to resign. It's ama honestly look on social media there are lots of reactions on it. NDC for Bibri NDC for rather omeni aje say apu most MP before me the Asante for any Asante culture triumph. Otufo's ba no any fairly poto no. Go and explain that. Go and what? Explain that. It is a there's been a lot of reactions on social media about this particular issue. But then no joining here, we can confirm on authority say yinyina papa yadi yinyina no Safo Kantanka. Nebano mino kase we are learning say Safo Kantanka kasa mino kase it has been confirmed say on kaya ho ewatias for asase so that is the breaking news so for those of you who know that's exactly what is really going on. And aside from that, you also learning say the cause of death of Safo Kantanka sisi on say omu enfa cause of death beyond by mumpa say he died peacefully na owu and then 3 days ago and then nansa eno uya it is there are many calls of people among for abisa say eba ne say na uye no afi ne yeti ho eyi but then we are also learning say Crystal Safo no sorry night say omo ankasa ewo omo nhihye they have a way and manner omo ye omo niema enti eba ne sa na wo say they have to really go by books. Before then, Ajagraja also had this to say. We have a news about the Ghana border crisis, because Minoka say, your crisis, a Kamia quest a jinsem.
And a baby,
What they look show up assassin, I would not show on. Some of the issue sarcasm. Montres are a way saying, Monfanto. Papa Yamin for some, Papa never talk from you, but 3 days. Monjo Tonto. In Shuber 3 days, maybe I'm within the best shadow. Assassin draft. That's baby in Junta.
Ajagraja.
You know, make a joke plane.
And Dino and my baba home.
Mina make a joke.
So Cognesia,
make a joke plane.
Asama
Shuber ton namiensa.
3 days.
Solid. Monjo Tonto. Solid.
A dainty.
Soon. No guys are not soon. And the same thing happening. So you could different cancer be a. What's been free? Wouldn't you have free? Me make us a break.
In sober
to size no. In sober 3 days. It's not going short on a MP. The school could see good.
And a baby,
the shadow. Someone see no. What they look show up assassin, I would not show on. Some of the issue sarcasm. Montres are a way saying, Monfanto. Papa Yamin for some, Papa never talk from you, but 3 days. Monjo Tonto. In Shuber 3 days, maybe I'm within the best shadow. Assassin draft. That's baby in Junta.
Ajagraja.
You know, make a joke plane.
And Dino and my baba home.
Mina make a joke.
So Cognesia,
make a joke plane.
Asama
Shuber ton namiensa.
3 days.
Solid. Monjo Tonto. Solid.
So that was what was really going on. Now let's move on to straight to Ghana's border, because Sema was say Sema one of the pressing issues at so recently the updated Bremo on this particular platform say Ghana for Oko a town the northern parts of Ghana Jibri. There's a conflict bi akoso and tokwa bi akoso enkofo bi abetrash enkofo so ema wo mo muti sa kronum no omudi ahopepre ne ahonhare efisa kronum ekọ. Now one of the things you are also learning in all of this is ebra omukọ ye no bibia no mute ne tokwa ne koso omukọ ye no neighboring town na eben omo. Unfortunately, no, na other country ewo na sa neighboring town or other country, which is Ivory Coast. Into omu nyine two basa na omu kopie Ivory Coast. Na ufi okrom ekopie obi kro so you become a refugee. So we are learning say one more and there are around the numbers of 13,000 to 20,000. Or man said that mass specific, but say a bro 13,000 and I said within that range. Now omukoye na say Ghana for ya krum for makwa refugees it will be mine. So during that same time, so our country here Ghana and as a minister they were busily talking about the Israel-Palestinian conflict. We'll come back to that. But me no say NGO is asked to step in because bibi adni do no come here say yenam social media and ministers or more social media Twitter now a church quotation mass be thank you for your cooperation. We are working actively to solve and cooperate kwasia semni brofo akese. Meanwhile adie wo was some ye me no say no minister afa car afa plane akwa ko hu the refugees obian koye yetiase ne fight over DSTV ni ade me no ka say no Kevin Taylor ebie ne mani so for things for Ghanaians to know where things actually stand. Yenkoshe video we ye beto us because it's imperative for us to know exactly what is really going on.
Always have to understand say when issues happen, that is when we have to start asking questions. Say, how can we also help? Now this is the time we need what we call selfless people, the missionaries, the churches, people who basically stand for humanity to show their support. To show, say, it does not matter where we belong. If yenyana nenwakem ana bibi say this because there are lots of children and then they're dangerous, no. There are a lot of who are caught in this. Now, what caught our attention is that one particular man on the outreach program and our team and an sorry over the weeks I said they have been with these people, and what they have done is they have brought in support. In fact, at a point, the UNICEF had to also come in to help support this honorable man on the outreach team. And then spent almost all the time there to try and find a shelter, clothing, food for yenuanu we yomwaka. Anytime catch Ghana for say, and you be able to no TV so any social media and also offer a two team. Sometimes you need to go deeper and ask about people and ask about what they do. Now, the Frontier Mission Network, partners, and I say in collaboration with another church, a friend of Zion Community Church. Now, Frontier Mission Network, Zion Community Church, they came together and they are doing marvelous this place. And the reason why we have decided to speak on this is because we want other missions. We want other organizations, churches. There are so many churches in Ghana. They step in and intervene when these kind of things happen. Now, I'm going to show you some of the things. The leader of Zion Community Church, in collaboration with Frontier Mission Network. In fact, the leader of Zion Community Church, your friend, Apostle Dr. Moses Sansa Kujon. Apostle Dr. Moses Sansa Kujon. He is the head pastor. He's an outreach apostola. Most of his Nejuma Odini is in the north. In fact, when you go to the north, the chiefs in the north, because of the outreach program, and in Suya stream. This is not new to this Zion Community Church and Frontier Mission Network. They have been working there in the north and in the most remote areas in the north. In fact, Okohamofreno, Enchura, in the northern language, Enchu is water. Amofreno Enchura, that is water chief. Amutsino in Suohine. Now, the reason why it's here, Emma Srim4 and Himfuni is seen in Suohine and say, when you go there and you count the number of boreholes it is more than even what the government has done. And that is the most interesting thing. And it doesn't end there. This man and his group and his outreach team and his church, they have come together to step in this very difficult moment to save Nkora. Places are UNICEF difficult, they are in the middle of this crossfire and trying to give them shelter, trying to give them a place, food, giving them water. This is what we want a humanitarian service to be. Now, this is what is happening there, I'm sure. So, this is the man I'm talking about. He has been in there with his church. And I'm doing this because I want other men of God, other missionaries, other churches to understand that it is not only rosary times and events and also church say you are reaching out or you are doing the work of God. You need to also, in very difficult moments or times where young people, children, women are going through a difficult times, that is when you step in. So, Apostle Dr. Moses Sansa Kujon is there with his team, and they are supporting hundreds of their displaced women, children, Ebikutankora. And when you sometimes watch some of the scenes, in fact, at a point, they went to meet an old lady, na Obiye Jani Jano, when they were trying to save some of the people in some communities. The man and his group, they went to a villager, and they were asking her, say, what we account on Kwan?
I don't need to appear. Oh, this one is left here alone. All the people have gone to the south. All the women have gone. All the children are gone. And the men are also gone. And she's here alone. She sleeps here alone. Nobody's here with her. And this prepares for food. She doesn't know what is going to happen to her in the next few hours. We don't know what is going on. So we have just come to visit them to see how things are going on there.
No, so these serious things are happening up there. And lots and lots of people have been displaced. So people like these, with their outreach program, with their churches, Zion Community Church, Frontier Mission Network, the government is doing its part, but we need the mission. We need people. Now look at the kind of support. In fact, at a point, UNICEF for her, they also did their donations.
But I was told that the government okay. Mahama Bora Abusi Sanse Kunjo. I watch a Yelba one. The Mokai Bona at DC, the back. My bona. We are born with. Aha, I saw like about the city is right. Yeah. We on a Japulo is like about Mokai. The book in the Jaima vote. They try and on the bar now.
First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to visit you today.
So it's reasonable enough for us to start asking or say start busa. What are the mission churches? What are the mission doing? We can't have just one person with his church just go do all this support alone. We as much as the government is doing its part, the church has it lost its sense of responsibility. And I'm not saying say by force say or so be sorry free now sorry say or ko akobwa imbabawa enemrewa enenkwara intokwe sinti. Majority of them, in fact, majority of inkwara and what is even going on, but they are always caught in that crossfire. So what has happened to the church? Since Adewe started, and we have not seen even the church try to make a move, try to go in, step in. All this man and his the partners, the church near Zion Community Church, there was Sunyani, and then the outreach program, a group from Frontier Mission Network. So this man's church, in collaboration with Frontier Mission Network, They are the people trying to help with the help of UNICEF and.
Okay, so since I was sharing, since war the northern parts, Jibiri, Womwa or Mufi, a acronym, asylum seekers, Ivory Coast, sorry members, Bibri Atwa, Intisana Kevintila can the Frontier Mission Network together with the Zion Community Church, Mako support. Personally, being who say are buying the PB alcohol, but then we are learning from the foreign minister who could Black say they are engaging with the foreign countries there. So, report and now what she said Kevin Tilla, that is the issue there currently. Now, quickly, yɛbɛ consent foforɔ so na yɛ consent foforɔ so ana ɛwɔ sɛ yɛkɔ ɛyɛ Chairman Wontumi now no during the State of the Nations address His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or the to just say Chairman Wontumi he would definitely be jailed and I say he will be put on trial. Now according to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the entire Okasa and say information about a party say Wontumi is involved in a quantum mining scandal and also setting contracts. Aside from that too Sisiano in some about Tojano from the current Maslock CEO, Party say, MPP peniphobi to say, Chairman Wontumi, okay, Catherine Afeko, and certain other executives, or more far cars, if we Maslock ho, and I also know, your friend is say a car at that Maslock on a 430 million Ghana cedis. Remember, I said now you have information about say Maslock. Together with the National Security, Mako Wontumi fee acquisition 3 cars. It is verified. So, in light of this, yes, I'm me adding same way about Tujano. Now, also who said no, in Yama and I said there is a lot of things. Yankoni could see Sama or the Tuja, you buy a bet to us because we know the a very, 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 very big issue.
Why a Maslock CEO. Now story be oha ehwehwe maso kakra me hunu ha Daily Post say Maslock retrieves 3 state vehicles from Chairman Wontumi. CEO of Maslock confirms. Na the entire me bisa was asem say na nsen ya che no. O ka say Ghana for mun sorry o. Ghana for mun sorry. Magia ba contract da. Magia ba bo post da. Enti ye den na ban ejapade akwakodi ni nsem yi.
Maslock yina yini say Bosnia any high purchases ni adie na Maslock na anka was say ekoma ehiafo ni omo a say bi ontimi ono ankasa cry on his own ontimi ntoka ni bi na
man was kabao was go
say no nti na ya ahomete no ya ba he ne ya hwe your records mu ye ejayen ye tracy cars na wo amanfo ho a omuntua ye omagigi sika a omuntimi ntua ye calls ni bi kra wo ha me na me ye calls no na de eba ye ne say cars ni bi wo ha na omuntimi enyiyi trackers ni mfi mo bebre na omayi trackers a Maslock edisise mu no na omayi afi mu the na trackers ni bi wo mu no na yetimi tracy ya. In fact, 5 of the cars no echo Chairman Mr. Bernard Enchibuesiakun ye tracy 3 echo ni sia wotema eho nti ye ma national security for eboaye na ye kokose sa cars no ewo ifra ewo mu eno
and now Wontumi mu die say there type of cars no
eno na ye mobo no ene unam kromo a ubehu cars nkitin bi ya friend of VW Gol enye Golf Gol ya de ba ye say anka mebunu na wo mo pese o mo ye uber ne sa nioma no yango ni ba queen
yango boat
ne sa nioma na ha enti uba na ya ma o car ni bi na ndie bosumi bia utua nkakra kosise ubetia wie nti utia wie a Maslock aye transfer of ownership amount na chese say no car no eye wankasa wodi a wodi ye adwuma na wodi ahwe abusua eye sa cars ni bio
ana mpanimfo no mum
agege cars ne de almost every regional secretary of the MPP at the Maslock car ontiaye yewra jombodu ene di ejinemu ema omo nti se ye kasei ono a odine kasa obeka cho national security efre no ema omo a odi ejinemu mo omo a omo jeje ye no omo aba endra ye koje baako efi ye nua be ma Charles Bisiu eho ono so na baako won ho a ontiaye one person akra kwami ontiaye ya de car no so ma no na ye foforo brand new car rubber hye ho enso ene ye kofa car no na car na tibia no enya ade a eso ani but yaje e dia ba beti okosi se obeba na oni ya betena se na ye ne na ye nhyehyɛ na wachia regional chairman for no Western North regional chairman nyame adomo no ye ba ye ne na ya ma wachia akakakra no wachia awie Eastern region on any dear 500,000 Ghana cedis and also on Suchian and Kaka Kwame SMP Yama Mikachi na Seku or Beji Sika and Kawase Yadema groups or the groups needing a buy Emma Omu di Sikano Emma Omo. Now the Akoba and say I was say repayment no omo ye repayment to Maslock sick account mo ba ma mi ma omo account foforo e na omo tia sika no egum up to lenne sa sika no one person akra ma me no enfam bre Maslock say sika na ye beje ye no ni sika ni ye de demand notice akọ on fi ye ni DC then but yes a friend of Bonzi or no
Bonzi
almost 600,000 over 600,000 on also J or chiche ama e was what chichema groups no ya china and also yente hoshe
na because Maslock dey minim say one more sabi one mu ni bie
omo ton nyoma ebi o pios mu ewo ni fie anim oni sika no mpo a ode be hyeja no omo e na ye boa wo omo unim say ye cars ibi kra maso kofi djuma beji bi up to now give okofo wo mu ndimi ntia ye ka give up the ye ka be 600 and something thousand wo mu ndimi ntia
nani ne tese sabre no ho no under whose watch
because na enye mobrowa for ni ehiafo e na saa time no na Maslock ehwe mini akwa me Maslock eka eda Maslock as asset nle aye cafe 430 million Ghana cedis 430 million Ghana cedis ne sanka yekita saa sika na enya dia e wo se aban etimi ma yesika biom as Maslock 430 million cedis eno ni sika eka eda ho a e wo se yegigi fi amanfo ho de behye anem na esan se Maslock nso ye mandate a e wo ye ho no ye ntimi emfa obi enko court ya nkasa gise attorney general ntimi amani nyina akwa akodi attorney general ho a de wo se omode court wo ya anem no omode be court e wo ya anem
ai ani akoritinga ayeni wo wasamba no papa o
asempa
na mami regional chairman atimi ba sikana bodde no abeje 500,000 Ghana cedis
no de ko
5 billion wo ko ena mama mbuso cars no mi trackers ni bi free mu no betimi abasa
no kra pay your contract na ye ni omo won e criminal because utia sika ni wia na ye de car ne mawa ena wo ho kwan sese wo mpa na we ye fi mu abra one Maslock still e was a contract no ni se o de won saka chaka no
but me say e kan ye 430 million Ghana
cedis 430 million sani e ka e da hosisia
na de ko Ghana cedis mu ya say trillion so
and ne o pepe
chama timi ko je ayi ubaka who born dog boy any a chair as a Ghana one sorry
well bra ye kan wan semi nana oso akoda iyoku no
hwan e ka say
a chama wuntumi wasina na disi wan katenini
Who dear?
No dress a man. Wakata de Libya and some man from Kwan or
Once a month for
Nana Nanuma woman. No for no more woman who was your penny woman would da or 2 cents. What pen?
I wasn't to say. I'm cartoon, I just tomorrow.
Well, see, I felt the presence of death around me.
Oh, what? How about you children me?
Nanay. Now, was it Eli, Lama Sabatani, no?
So uti in sema ekoswa. I mean, you really feel sad. Say Maslock air patch say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oba abayemono. A car at that Maslock, 430 million Ghana cedis. Now, I want to break it down for you to know. Okay, for more money, Maslock was set up by the former administration, Mahama's administration, way back. Se omofambua in Crawford. Iti Maslock ankasa de a micro and small loans center. Micro and small loan center. No. Your friend Maslock, the abbreviation MASLOC. Na ye yet to ho e de beboa aban your friend is Ghana for into boons and annual circle cantaman to share no. One more no more a omnia share na Maslock among muskasa mo fancy business na say into they give them loans with low interest. That is what Maslock does. Into no Bahama a buying a fee so way back in 2069 before buy they continued. No more continue na was or more to us no man to us because already so the former Maslock boss are now a NDC near or down from 2012 to 2016. And also discuss my MP before by they were prosecuting her and now or the meyare sawa kwashe London US 8 years ni si Ghana da a car woman no audit wa Ghana no or no sa NDC woman no almost about 100 million Ghana cedis. 100 million Ghana cedis. Nipa make na say me ma mention ni din me kai pa say me yesa story no Sedina Tamakulu. Ti Sedina Tamakulu ono nko a ibko ema ni default judgment ko dwane ko sha bruchi MP before ema default judgment say wa boga na ka 90 million loss to the states. Yentimi anya ne hwe MP before pem so say de ne beba wanye na John Dramani Mahama ba ye na anka no so sabi owo so to aso no o se case no on to aso adan a se MPP fo intimi endi asem ne nwia enye ono obeto aso because the facts and stuff no eni ne nchen yaane eni ne nchen to on to aso inti NDC ni no edi wieye MPP fo ba ya ni a fele some baby bia ebeboa no omuso mo buy no omuso mbe di scan bia head echo. Let me put this on the screens for you to know exactly where we are heading. Inti o share the whole screens no so or say judgment day for former Maslock boss and others. Ti we Sedina Tamakulu ye kana simwana ono Mahama na appointing no ono no ye di asem ni we before judgment no na ono nko ano wa cause a loss of 90 million Ghana cedis to the state. 90 million Ghana cedis to the states. In the way Jania Kwasha Bruchi say, ni kidney o se na kuma ne yenti okoje ayaresa wambe biem e no sha Bruchi ho. Into no di kwa ya MP before so buy in 2016, 2017 no. Ani e feni said they will make sure say Maslock effective no. NDC for so buy MP before so buy no so mu discount ko. Ene o wa na chema wuntumi aba no abeje cars na abeje 500,000 na catch na feku aba na regional chairman aba MP4 nto omuso mu diska na ne se Maslock na kwa akoye se obia kwa no akubo uraho agiska na wababa nto hwa wo meyi ameka na se hwe adi ewo down mesewa o say the High Court in Accra is expected to deliver judgment today in the case in which a former chief executive officer CEO of the former CEO of Microfinance and Small Loan Center, Maslock, Sedina Tamakulu Atonu, has been accused of causing financial loss of 90 million to the state. Sa woman we me kai pass me yes story no. Details of the story they say Ebra Kantaman to share ya anka was such chiska 20,000 MAJD4 more railway lines no so no. Say scan one fa mu bia o ka say obeti check phones ne laptops one check Any scano, a share account na a court ne bodyguards, and then a boyfriend, and the bushman for a year time. Into no the end will be the court, and a MPP force to buy, any chairman won't to make at or moko or mako jeka, because Maslog any initiative ever say, or the small cars be bar, will be to my bed, no return a crowd, now they are Uber. Sarcasm and buying penny for an edge, and your one original chairman about only 500,000 for a project, no, a general their court. And then you show more from Cromonfa. In the cases where you know, Emma Omuvieno must look up 430 million Ghana cedis. Into NDC 4BD 90 million equia from 2012 to 2016. Woman, we and obey yes, a bonnet our Jania Kosha Bruchi. MPP also by from 2017 to 2024. Eka 430 million Ghana cedis, including in Alboma. 430 million Ghana cedis and 90 million Ghana cedis. It gives you approximately 530 million Ghana cedis. Yes, it gives you almost 530 or 520 million Ghana cedis. Aden and a yeti kruma yes sir. Inti a car beda maslok no. Aye sad. Aye so sad. Miniaba. Maybe be say wa unwa anautia na obokra eden esho ane o ma be diko ene de ochi omo anoma MPP fo akọ Supreme Court ene eyi Iyoko headquarters o ma ko demonstrate na se bi hianfo a omo party mu a omendi mu de omehu so hwe no omo nim sansem we mu no na at the end of the day no na etese omo na ombekwa akọ demonstrate na wachie nipa saa ye ne saa na ese afia kwa aba nti MPP for betwe a na we muso aba betwe so sad. So that is the issue a course I just say osha ade a so sad that is the update eba. So you better so with a year in some fofro. But then also we are live into bit me the comment now. But I think say before you better also with in some fofro crano. Personally, I would like to read certain comments. I will see really certain comment. Amount for drink check akra and sana ya twaso because it's very imperative say be who exactly what is really going on. Any people's reaction to this particular case. If at the end of the day, your opinion on this particular issue. Wefi a year. Okay, so far a comment beyond by all the comments here you're referring to Kevin Taylor ISR story in AVA. So let's move on. Now moving on there's pressure on the National Democratic Congress. Said they should arrest, they should release Abronye. This Abronye now no Friday or PM or court you need to my Black Maria no car. As all your hardened criminal the wash him a cover as a container be ye ban ye bill and your handcuffs goon san on 9 Abronye. Now in the wake of Martin Pebu any other people more party said the prosecution of Abronye and it doesn't make sense because Abronye charges say they are charging no yes misdemeanor so why ye be a attitude wise it's a ban saying misdemeanor no wako ye chain no 7 days. Yet no quarter, yes, I remanded for another 7 days. According to Martin People and other people, the law is being used as a weapon against people like Abronye. I was see a money bill, try a new Beba verdict and near my verdict. But me no can say Felix of Usukwache, who in the previous government also lead the demonstration, chichi, to force money, NDC for any captains, or kasa, also about reacted to the issue, and I party say. Yachi NDC for intidien. Yachi MPP for intidien. Is this the first time I hear you be Okruma say? You could see somebody to J.
I buy be your bag and the BS with the MPP for Wabem. They used to do this routinely. I don't mind Chinipa Ghana.
Of course, I would Chinipa.
Some of you don't mind to police CID for several hours. And I'm a day or two. Kokwa you do one man chino. Or to force it. I don't mind for them good court. Calling that one for them court. Check. Go for that me at force asem no enye say bia equalization na bibi but so what MPP for why be me say began na no ankwa na ma no yeti hwe at force asem no second defendant Dr. Sylvester Animana na or your former chief director our health ministry ambulance asem no abra yede na ye che no a yede no court no na or yare bibiri or serious kidney problem na onti asem sabi period asem no ni so hu ade Oti wheelchair mu ni fie ewo efense kwabeni achi wo anope bia ofo trotro eti huiche mu eba court otena was several hours na owo agent need to go and do a kidney transplant go for that mean ko gina court abre bia e be friend say omra docket mu no na ontu mepo nkasa and yet go for that took him to court. The man sat in a wheelchair in court obi a wo kidney serious kidney problem or hearing impairment nene so hu ade papa and yet MPP aban hu no mobo I didn't ko gina court yet and I would see o ma say omo no they didn't even touch a fly. That was how callous they were. It's more ding the boom man no. They took Obia no was serious health problems to court. Back my work ya and yet 37 here. Yeah. And on quite demonstration. Almost say mebunu beye eduonum. Yeah. Any gu for merely protesting. Yeah.
Hunger striking now.
Just for protesting. Yeah. Some more the placards. I call disruptive traffic akrano. Omo do omo tu fiase. Dan what you be ye ba ben mu ye just anko for no be boa. That's true. They were in court as of the time I ba ben mu. So how can a party like this that behave this way suddenly turn around and be protesting and say due processor ya do be fasono but ye be akom. They were capricious.
Okay, so fellas of Osuku ache party say oma ye enye. It's literally yes ye yamomu completely. But then you guys basically can follow the law. The fact say MPP for ya enye no. Amaba bemu. We are not saying say don't arrest a abronye. But the issue among for can say fine, why arrest abronye? A misdemeanor. Enye murder case, enye robbery, enye adibia, enye treasonable offense, enye misdemeanor. So why then we did the opening mubiatem and now what kind some bonya fool be who? I say well insults into misdemeanor dear. I don't get to a necro will see a jow. Marry mandini pan for 1 week. Or baby a man, once I remanded for 1 week. Investigation ben pa na moye. Ebra videos of in some kind in online. Anyways, yeah for an to Canada Japan in this case too, also about Kasa. So what is Ken Japan saying about this issue? But then more no arrest of a year abron no. Matiti and yes matiti facts. Ken Japan camp omu die receive per year to say oh Ken Japan camp ni mu mekai day ya abron ye call court here ye remanding for 1 week and you say pa and yasem kita. So they are jubilating. But then in all of this no almost so patch say maybe koso. This is what they are saying. Almost patch say the past mistakes MPP for ye no and the NDC for so twice no nipa or why you mupo bit my system no Kennedy Japan. You could see sama on wankasa ni spokesperson Eddie Tuja ye ba you better also what in some for
has been said. Yes, the name of the tour is Unity Tour, but the Nsema as part of the message to delegates, no all canon. It seems or pitch the party establishment no, against delegates. No, and for example, say or more a what power more pay Juma Kro Mama Mojumebi, and the more Basa Montraba Emma. That is not a language of unity, is it?
Oh, Obi. Party for a year NPP, a polling station executive for no. Say, who call Manaswa Boa Hopao make a crime because Wamontia see about politics, no. So, obey on one, obey your shock. And yes, sir, obey sorry, and Wakakujina, when him na Sebio Waka near Ope. Kennedy nsema wokani inafa wo mu yiedie ho na se wasoda fo mabon se party no base no wo mu susuye the expectation na wo mu wo efa kwan a na wo susu se wo se yede wo mfa so no sinto eba ho na se wo ye pani a opese wudi saa dom nanim a se wo se wo ma wo mu hu ne antwa yie ene ensusuye pa ewo wo susu wutrima ye ma wo kwan a wo beye na nti se obi hye enkomo bi se yase a me no me hu ne se ye nokore enkomo ne wodi enye empaipa mu nti sana delegate for no so uti o ma wo mo je no se wo baaye no wo de chewpa e di abrewo menyi ni se aspirant a wo mo ko nyina kwabena Japan aduchum Dr. Bawumia Dr. Brian Achiampo minyi ni se wo mo ne Kennedy nya adwene se wo se ye party for nature me to me de me say me bo say wo mo nyina ne Kennedy ya adwene say so wonya akwanya na woni NPP polling station for electoral area, the base of the party woni wo mu edin koma the least was a way because is to seek for forgiveness of the things na entwe yi no said we can now call for the spirit to begin with a certain energy because and new opposition maybe so I say last time I am a minister sisi am a former say sanka bia entesa yes enti no eniema ni bi yeden ankoye na say o person would di amanyoku enim wasa kwan so awon pe no correct the people want to find on person mu say ni esi ya no fi say na esefata na say bibi tochim ewo ho Kennedy wogidi say eniema bebre tochim ya awose wodi san common na untumi so nkoka say eniema bi tochim a untumi empe enka ha unsan obi a ho sa woya ne sa no krenim na kwese wo kakasa ne sa akwa people are put in charge of the party say won betu anamo na ahoden aba party adwuma ni mu enti si ye kwa ba na sa ahoden no eba fom ama ye ni enkunima na so ka say yenhwe kwa ye fa so yes ani ama na menyini so attack Safo ne so we lay the facts there bear ama obi anya ne ho ntiase ye say wo mo de gidie bi ehye ye mu si ye nya adwuma but adwuma no kwa ye fa so ye no anso ani sa
So that is in Sema Ekoso about Kennedy Akompreku in Japan. Now, quickly, once again, you are live into bit made a comment about because you have caught in some frost and some babe kosono ex-president Akufo-Addo. You know, it's amazing say now on social media obiase nipa ombejenebo ex-president Akufo-Addo. We'll be talking about that very soon for you to know exactly why Ghana for Sisian Obiabo Akufo-Addo. All of a sudden, the devil. Now we knew Akufo-Addo no. You see, I know or an angel. We are so it's kind of affirming. Say, I don't know, but people are just giving Akufo-Addo's good grace to him. There's a reason why I will be coming to that very shortly. Okay, so you're moving on to the next update. Are you moving on ex-president Akufo-Addo? Just recently, and our President John Dramani Mahama obey state of the he met the press. Okay, meeting with the press. But a meeting press. One of the things we just saw was that an issue and will be a way forward. The issue of Galamsey. The issue of Galamsey. Ni bisa papa se papa oba edebe mpa na obey oba se oka se oba obey Galamsey hu niema. Mahama ebe bi na no akasa Mahama so and it's not that easy in same p na ni nyina no kosi se o se enye easy se obe solve ne sa ane nti nsema na ex-president Akufo-Addo o opposition o ka sa ade ne de o tiechia hu ni se easy wure mo se se nda fam kra sa na President John Dramani Mahama eka but then me akoye se nipa na ye se onye na ontimi solve Galamsey Mahama se oba obe odi efeni sen word ben kra no kan o se obe man national emergency ni abani Galamsey Mahama ya afi de Mahama entimi nye na in aid of this no ex-president Akufo-Addo watutu bi wabe reply John Dramani Mahama. Basically what he's saying is that this is a vindication and then on baby na himfofo friend Akufo-Addo say we good Ghana for you be shade Akufo-Addo Ghana you could see some Akufo-Addo kan help us vindication is indeed in the womb of the Almighty. It is here and President Akufo-Addo said that he was right all along about Galamsey.
Galamsey matter which has risen a lot in Ghana today. In the last election, in the mining districts of the country, the MPP did very badly. Largely because the NDC presidential candidate and the party had gone around the mining areas and saying that the policy that I was implementing of trying to stop Galamsey would be reversed when he came to power, and that those who were already in jail for offenses, the Galamsey offenses, all of them would be amnestied. When I said I was putting my presidency on the line, that's what I meant. That I was prepared to take the political risk involved in trying to deal with this Galamsey phenomenon. The result, of course, was that the mining districts, especially in the western region, all of them, including almost, nearly, even Takwa, was lost to the MPP. That is what I meant when I said I'm putting my presidency on the line. That I was prepared to take the political risk involved in coming to grips with this problem. Today, he's saying that no, he doesn't believe in jailing, that he's against Galamsey, that he will enforce the law. So once again, we have to ask ourselves, Mr. J.M., where do you stand? What are you telling the people of Ghana? Because every time you speak from one corner of your mouth and you speak from another corner of your mouth. Let us hear from you direct, straight up, what do you stand for? We need to know.
So, this video is trending on social media. I will say, I showed you MPP from Penny for or my reaction to that. I think, okay, I need to show you this to you. Just 1 second. When we say, Omu duet this particular video, there's a reason. Just watch the duet in to us.
Same matter, which has risen a lot in Ghana today.
So that was the duet. The MPP for video, no. And Omo reacted. Omo Pache said, Mahama Akufo-Addo can say, Obe putting the presidency on the line. He put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey. And now, according to Akufo-Addo, no, Mahama FHE, Eco mining sector, he said MPP4 hates Galamsey people. They hate miners. Meanwhile, according to data what HR say, over 2.4 million Ghanaians. Kwa omo fasu enye sika enye aduane Eco mano you true Galamsey. Until you won't mean go man because a source of livelihood to people. What you do is you regulate it. Until John Dramani Mama F18 Kofo Fetika say, oh, NDC4, MPP4 is against Galamsey near the end. They lost vote in most of these areas. Galamsey prone areas. And then John Dramani Mama Satama Akufo-Addo Kasapone 2020, 2022, 2023. And then John Dramani Mahama, what babemu? Give a national emergency and I declare a national emergency, not tackle Galamsey or say in national emergency, paperwork is not going to do anything. Regardless, in some way, one person on also the Oni Akufo-Addo train tawe Paul Afuku or parties Akufo-Addo no nam say you will be a friend in Sepanta anka the man is one. He could see in same way Akufo-Addo can same be some years back.
After I saw my dad, I went over to see President Kufuor, and he just listened to me for a while, and he said, okay, and he changed the topic, and we're discussing something else. After a while, he just threw a question at me. He said, if you can do it, that would be great. By then, I was lost because he was now talking about going to observe the South African elections.
Okay.
So I said to him, sir, what do you mean? He said, you said you want to be chairman? And I said, oh, yes. If you can do it, that would be great. I thanked him. And then he said to me, go talk to Akufo-Addo. He is the presidential candidate. And I said, thank you, sir. So I left. I called Nana at the time, presidential candidate. Well, he wasn't. He had lost the elections and now he was going to contest again. And he said he was out and about. Those were his words. I'll come to the court. And I said, okay. So I went over to see Honorable Kwajom Piani, the Chief of Staff, Kufuor's Chief of Staff, and I talked to him. And in fact, Honorable Mpiani, his wife, Faustina, we call her Auntie. She just said to me, Paul, can you do this? I said, why not? She said, you don't take nonsense from people, and you get a lot of it in politics. It is something that I wonder. And I said, Auntie, I will do it for the sake of the party and the country. I will do it. I'll discipline myself. I am able to do that. Then Akufo-Addo called me whilst I was at Kwajom Piani's house and gave me time to come the next day. So I went to his house the next day and I told him what I wanted to do. And now I come to the court. He said, I suggest that you don't do any campaigning now because the party is in court. You remember the election petition?
Yes, correct.
You and I will not be. Yes. So wait until the decision is made. In fact, Addison, the lawyer, had preceded me into Nana Addo's study.
Okay.
So he came out and said, the lawyer has just left here and he says that a decision will soon be coming. So please don't do anything until after the decision. And I said, Nana, I'm not campaigning. I'm just informing people like you. And in fact, President Kufuor told me to come and inform you.
You told him that?
Yes. And he said, really? I said, yes. He said, and I'm grateful. I said, that's what he said. Then he said to me, okay, when the time comes and you are going to contest, and this is the quote, direct, I haven't forgotten it. What, since 2014? I haven't forgotten it.
Right.
You will,
11 years ago.
Yes. And if the party is looking to the north, you will find that I am not your enemy. That was a loaded thing. But I just took it to my stride. I said, yeah. Instead of saying you'll find that I'm not opposing you, I'll be okay and all that. He said, I'm not your enemy. For me, it was nothing. And I went off. And that was it.
So definitely more Niema eba out post Akufo-Addo presidency Paul Afoko. Now, Minuka say Dennis Abuaje, Miracles Abuaje, or part say Mahama campaigned on the premise of obe solve galamsey issue. Now new meeting press no, the argument no was one. Press no and I say as in for Bisan say Mama Excellency Adeintia na won declare national emergency. National emergency no, is basically like what happened during COVID-19 time. President Akufo-Addo declared national emergency. Obia nko fie ne utifie untimi mpie nkoye hwe. Your movement is restricted and scheduled. Until o declare national emergency in the parts a galamsey affected areas, all mining will stop. Now feed the best mining no ase from the scratch. No obe mining oba beje permit ni ade. Mahama, Excellency Mahama Ebekasa or say a mere paperwork. Menuka say Dennis Abuaje, Miracles Abuaje patch say. You see, it is easier said than done. And Mahama is forgetting something. So 4 years is just around the corner. Now, Okasa Oba Obe solve galamsey. Udi aye campaign Ghana for ajiwatum. Waba so solve the issue afi the outreaching okon. Now, one aye definitely NDC for a clash during a recent argument on this particular issue. Yenko see exactly what really went on. We have an issue about a year after your markings, and also we'll get into the details of it.
Coalition. Why are you not happy with these comments by the president? Let's hear the president.
Myself that the fight against illegal gold mining or galamsey was going to be an event. I mean, definitely, there's no magic wand. The decay has eaten so much over the last 8 years that it's going to take a lot of work to be able to overcome it. And I didn't expect that in 18 months we'll declare victory in the fight. As the livelihoods of about 4 million Ghanaians is on small-scale mining. And so it's going to be a process. It's not going to be an event. But we will not give up. We have a determination to get on top of it. The Gold Board was introduced as part of reforms. And if the Gold Board was not introduced, I mean, those who were taking the profits from the small-scale mining sector were the foreign traders who were taking that money away. In 6 months, we have exported over $6 billion. About $4 billion of that money was going to go into the private or foreign traders. And so the first thing is you shut the stable door so that the horse doesn't escape, which is what we've done. So if it's from illegal sources, it's from legal sources. At least it's our land that is being destroyed. So let us get the benefit of it instead of foreign traders. So that's the first thing. But if you go and read the Gold Board law, it has a requirement for tracking and tracing. I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have.
Yes, so Senor, despite the level of pollution our water bodies are going through, and even ECG now cannot, that's ECG, Ghana Water Company cannot treat our water for us. We haven't gotten to a state where we should declare a state of emergency. You people say, lie, the president won't allow this. What are you going to do?
I've been heartbroken. I realize my energy is low. I'm in shock. Samson, His Excellency the President signed our pact, and he made representations in that pact that showed that he was recognizing and acknowledging, was concerned about the problems and convinced about the steps that we had agreed he would take.
He signed the pact.
He did. I can read them here. John Mahama.
This is before the elections.
Before the elections, yeah. Recognizing the deleterious and devastating impact of illegal and irresponsible mining on the forest, land, and water resources of Ghana. Acknowledging the dangers posed to the food chain and health of Ghanaians by their inevitable consumption of poisoned water and food laced with heavy metals and concentrated inedible minerals. Concerned with that until and unless bold and decisive legislative and specific policy interventions are put in place to stem the tide, the situation will continue to deteriorate to the point of irreversibility. Convinced that it is both an obligation of the High Office of the President of the Republic of Ghana and also a logical patriotic duty of every public servant to work towards the protection of the resources of Ghana and the best of interests of the citizens under the trusteeship duty incumbent on the said office. I hereby undertake per pledge, and 2, act as follows. 1, immediately to denounce and do hereby immediately denounce the practice of Galamsey for its treacherous impact on the natural environment and the health, safety, and well-being of the people of Ghana for those of posterity. We accordingly call on the perpetrators of the heinous environmental crime of Galamsey to be stopped by the perpetrators, their agents, assigns, and any workmen. We call on the law enforcement agents to immediately and ruthlessly apply the law against the perpetrators of this crime by clamping down on the practice and bringing culprits to book, ultimately through the criminal justice system, irrespective of their political or social standing. 4, that we will design and implement policies to immediately stop Galamsey and to approve Galamsey from Ghana in the medium to long term, should any of us win the next presidential elections and any presidential election thereafter. And this is the last one. To call on all supporters, party officials, communicators, and other persons speaking for and on behalf of our parties to desist from making comments supportive of the menace or otherwise encouraging anyone involved in Galamsey to continue with this practice. How ruthlessly have we dealt with Galamsey? You see, this country and our policy speak from our politicians have been so much on the side of inputs. We have done water gas. We have arrested this. We've arrested that. I clap for you. You've done well. We have supported that. As a matter of fact, I actually believe that the foremost person who's really been in support and fighting this has been Emmanuel Amabwa. He seems sometimes for us like the only guy standing. What you should measure your policy actions by is the output. We got into this fight last year, sometime in August, when we had the publication of the 4,500 NTUs. Right, do you remember? I was here and I called Akufo-Addo the worst president ever. Because you don't pretend this to this point. And you still see it and still having constraint in taking ruthless action against this matter because politics holds your hand. Today, what do we have? After all that the president says they've done, 32,000. Have we gone or have we come? I am really sad. I'm heartbroken. There are things and steps that have been taken. But that ruthlessness that's required, the void of politics or social standing has been difficult for this government. Their own party people are involved. The former guards, political guards, have handed over to the new guards. And the trade is continuing. And the irreversibility that the president signed on in this pact that we signed is where we are now. And he's struggling to act. We can't continue this way, Mr.
President. We haven't gotten there. That
Mr. President,
state of emergency should be last resort.
Look, the value of that state of emergency was not to run a whole country state of emergency. There are particular places we have to protect. Our forest reserves and our water bodies. If you declare that state of emergency, you're supposed to draft your own rules and give you, far-reaching power to take strong action, ruthless action to curb this. We had 9 reserves that they said people are taking over. Talk to Erastus. The people are going back. The red that turned to green or yellow is going to orange. Where are we going? So you look at this police thing that he did. You withdraw the whole people. That's why IGP focus on Galamsey, don't focus on Abronia. They ask the police people to come. His explanation respectfully does not suffice. Suggesting that what? The police people could not tell who from what. That is neither here nor there. If it's a communication problem, the NIMOS that was put in place, we are part of the NIMOS. We are represented at NIMOS. They can give that guidance. It is information, it's communication. There are rules. If you are supposed to mine at a place, you should have the permits for it.
Okay.
If you want to have a database for the police should have it. And let's get it clear.
So small-scale
mining is not allowed in forest reserves.
All right. So the Ghana coalition,
that the police people could not have done.
So the Ghana coalition is insisting on a state of emergency.
We need a state of emergency. We need the police people back.
All right.
But more importantly, I think this is something we must ask for.
All right.
The government must publicly publish on a monthly basis for every water processing plant, the NTU state, the level of turbidity.
Okay.
So we know the quality of water we are drinking.
Now, Bright, there was a promise to repeal LI 2462.
He's doing
and when they came, they said, we won't repeal it. This is what we want to. They did an amendment. The advocacy continued. Now they are going to repeal it. So maybe if their advocacy continues, insistent that there must be a state of emergency, it will come. Is that what you think?
So this economics problem I was explaining between, where we make laws before we understand the policy, we put the cart before the horse, is very evident here. But we made the laws around mining in forest reserves. Had we determined which of our forest reserves we wanted to degazette, because at a certain point we felt that those particular forest reserves were surfeit or surplus to requirements. We have not yet made those proper policy choices, which is why eventually, even though we had the law, we are still allowing people based on discretion to go into the reserves and mine. So we have to start off being clear about policy. What is the extent of forest reserves that in our current situation we believe is a total requirement? How much of it do we feel that we are willing to sacrifice for economic development? These are matters of policy. Secondly, I understand the passion that our friends on the activist side in this matter bring to bear on this issue. But I think they also have to clarify in great detail how the state of emergency specifically will function. Because I've heard it said a lot of times. Today is the first time that I'm hearing Senor start to kind of lay out why the state of emergency will make a difference. Because my view was that the existing interventions that are of a security nature are themselves not being maximized. So if we give soldiers more power and more license, are we saying that we're going to suspend some rights? What would the emergency, what do you call declaration of state of emergency, how specifically will it function? Which rights do you want to suspend? Which rights are in the way, etc.? Those things I think are very important. The next level is that I don't think the president is well informed when he suggests that we've kicked out all foreigners out of the gold value chain. It's not because the issue of the matter is that the foreigners were involved in finance. And today we haven't changed the financial arrangements. So even if you ensure that all the aggregators and the rest are Ghanaians, where are they getting the money from? They're not getting it from our banks. A lot of that money is still coming from foreigners. Thirdly, the government itself is heavily dependent on foreigners to market the gold. The Bank of Ghana has contracts that I know with international players who are not Ghanaian. The Gold Board is heavily involved in trying to solicit for international partnerships in order to market. So they're always going to be foreigners involved. So this notion that somehow the new arrangements eliminate foreigners, I don't think is correct. The bigger issue around Galamsey, to be honest with you, and that's why I myself have been very reticent and have very unconventional views about Galamsey, is that to do profitability and environmental conservation at the same time is extremely difficult. There are only 38 or so large-scale mining companies in the country. Of that, about 12 of them are active large-scale gold mines. Those 12, they employ less than 40,000 people. Yet, the average mine size is over 70 square kilometers. If you use the density we have on our small-scale mines and apply that density to large-scale mines, you need to put 105,000 workers in each large-scale mine. That's not viable. The average large-scale mine in this country in gold has fewer than 3,000 people. So if there's a huge gap between the large-scale mining sector and the small-scale mining sector in terms of productivity, the average large-scale mining worker makes about $170,000 for the company on average. The average cost small-scale miner cannot even make $4,000.
Okay.
So that's a massive gap. You need to fill it somehow.
All right.
And that will require that we change the entire structure of the gold mining industry. And that's a policy matter, which we haven't even started to go into.
Right.
There's an optimal mine size issue, which if we don't fix, will never make a difference.
Dennis.
Council, so I mean, and I'll say this, no interruption because I have my basis. The President, Dr. Mahama, His Excellency, is the biggest enabler of Galamsey in this country. And it predates now. First of all, he lied when he said that in the last 8 years, this has escalated, it's a complete false. I don't know how much time I have, but I'll utilize as much as I can. Before 2011, Galamsey was just who pickaxe on land. They gathered small. Then in late 2011, 2012, that was when Galamsey went into our water bodies. That was the time Mr. Potterfi, who was then NADMO Director General, and Professor Mills went to somewhere in Achem and saw large tract of Galamsey happening in some cocoa farms. Then in 2013, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Galamsey in our forest reserves and water bodies actually became endemic. That is what led him to set up a task force, which was led by Honorable Eunice Afuseni. So it is completely a lie. If he creates an impression and say, in the last 8 years, and that is one force who they've been peddling. They create an impression in the minds of the populace as if Galamsey, as we are seeing it today, is like an Akufo-Addo thing. Indeed, it is as a result of how bad Galamsey was. That is how come in the Akufo-Addo's first 3 months, he actually declared a war on Galamsey.
He did, and he worked well on that. So
that lie,
first 2 years,
that lie must actually be put to leave. Now, in 2016, this is what happened. 3 years after the task force led by Honorable Fusedi had been set up, the minister admitted that the war against Galamsey cannot be won. This is on Ghana Web. In fact, read myjoyonline.com, 15 September 2016. The minister gives up on Galamsey fight. It's on MyJoy Online. Now, the Galamsey fight, he said, has been allowed to fester so much so that the water bodies in this country had turned into Milo. This is the minister. This was the task force.
So the state of emergency must be now.
No, please. If my time is not up, you let me make my point.
You are done.
Okay. So I mean, for lack of enough time, it is the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who actually brought in the media into the fight against Galamsey. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the one who brought CSOs into the fight against Galamsey.
Welcome that we brought ourselves
now fast forward council.
And he welcomed
when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo started arresting people, burning champagnes, taking them to court, do you know what the president now said? He said that stop going after illegal miners with soldiers. This is on your portal. It is on video. Now, in 2020, when Nanado was now going into a second term elections and we are arresting people, the same president now went into the pit, sent his people into the pit to tell them that if you vote for Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he's going to stop you from doing Galamsey. Vote for us. Today, Tony Obeng, who is leading Petroleum Hub, is going to be made Minerals Commission boss, and we are going to allow you to mine. The president said that he was going to reverse the policies Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo had put in place and release all those who have been arrested. Fast forward.
He was going for the kingpins.
Please, I beg you, you fast forward.
Well, your time is
fast forward. The same man is back in government. And now listen to what he's saying. He's saying that, oh, but the thing, if the man will go to private pockets and will get it, is the same thing. The man, please,
that man, okay, that carry on.
Thank you.
The same man.
We have a minute left. We have a minute left. First of all, we have a minute left. Let me tell you this. Honorable News of Seni. So why the reluctance? When shall we get to that stage? And when I was sitting there in that room, and that question was asked, and he referred to 8 years. There's a lady who was sitting by me. The lady will tell you. I looked at the lady and said, "Did the president said 8 years ago?"
That's absolutely. Mr. President was wrong.
Why? What's wrong with you?
All right, so that is the whole issue about the whole Galamsey. In fact, interesting take about it. I just say, Osha, Mahama is being pressed to declare a state of emergency, and you could see even NDC people saying, say, yes, indeed, Bryce Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Eba Bemu, 2017, 2018, 2019, he actually did well in fighting Galamsey, but the last 2 years, none has to give it up to election. So that is the issue at Ewoho currently. Now, let's move on to our last issue of the day. Last issue of the day, it has to do with Yinuya Ben Mae Papa, MPP Afenyo Markins. Now, the last time we spoke about Afenyo Markins, he had a meeting with the UK foreign minister and all complaints say, see, Ghana has here for MPP for, and I also know the country is not safe and Mahama is trying to do a whole lot of bad things. So, and I don't know if the UK will take steps to rectify or sanction Mahama or talk to him. We don't know. But then the same Afenyo Markins again is back now, saying, say, NDC for take your more parliament. Adenya, CC and NDC for J or seat. NDC for a seat. Now his argument was that MPP had 88 seats. And about Kuvuye. Bakuye no. NDC for the Nibre Ababeje Bakwaka. I'm a back to 87. In fact, I am Bibri, but then I think Kevin Taylor has a message for your papa for you. It's the share your bar near DC.
And on our side, as the minority, we are going through some turbulence. We came in with 88 members, but the majority side will not let us have peace. So now we are back to mighty 87. Afenyoma can say, on the side minority ne de enkoyi na omo ba no mkuta 88 ena ntina na first na okem sakraman. Sisi ani akwa akutia ba no 88 this what aba 87. Nanso nyame wo ho. Yeah, there you go. MPP for the omajimi o. MPP as a political party, they are very foolish. And anytime I say they are foolish, I am not enyame because every single day they prove to you say they are foolish. There is a political party, almost 87 MPs, 87. Their party as a political party, the leadership of almost parliament, parliamentarians in Pongunyansa say, Sanko for no mudio in power, and no more parliament, no about opposition in parliament. They are still keeping Afenyo Markin, and they expect to say Afenyo Markin will lead them to come and get 190 votes, MPs. And with Jimmy, any serious party, Afenyo Markin, any sa APJ mun come up with leadership long time, because Afenyo so all kind the terminal report and I said the track record and the politics more on any the only majority leader or to me the party free opposition omuluzi seats from 137 to 87. Afenyo Markin, that is his political record. He cannot run away from it. He is the first majority leader, or to be leading a whole majority side from 137 to 87. Now, more MPP must stand that way. In Ghana politics, no, it will always remember Afro-American as the worst leader in parliament. Okay, the worst parliamentary leader on the side of the NPP. It is the NPP for Niminyansa. And Kasaji Mijiwe, Komo Yine Flip, a new data. They would have put a new face. Let me tell you, when the NDC wanted power, it was a very difficult pill to swallow. At a point, they had to do something. Not because Haruna Idrisu is not a good leader. Not because Muntaka is not good. Not because the NDC didn't know what they were doing. It was because they needed the NDC to have a new face in parliament. A new face that will symbolize something. A new face that will send a message to the people of Ghana. A new face that will show preparedness. It does not mean to say, time NDC for Haruna Idrisu, Haruna Idrisu is bad. Haruna Idrisu is corrupt. No, it is strategic. Sometimes, when a team is bad, you don't necessarily have to sit there and say, where they also bow. Strategically, you are like you're a good player, but sit on the bench. Afro-American is a bad communicator. Afro-American brought this party from 137 to 87. Madam Nefana Piejena, the two of Fujineno. Or no, or parliament, and nananom ena opre ejapadiamo mu. The leadership of the NPP, Sankomini Munyansa, and the day lost power because the honest truth is, NDP for AE or say Chemensa, or the Afro-American measure. What was the reason? The reason was that Oseme Chemensa, he wasn't going to, he wasn't going to sustain the numbers. In Tomuka say, you're 137, we want to get more seats. In Tianya Day, Yen Chenji or say Chemensa Nyamfa Wimra. It is a Chemensa or say Chemensa Bonsu, most are born with Jimmy. Namakofa Kwa Weaba say, you don't want the hang parliament. You want to add more numbers to your numbers in parliament. Now your re-election number numbers about 87. Why are you still keeping this joker? Why are you still keeping this joker in parliament? Say he is your leader. He lacks no sense. He cannot communicate. He can't dialogue. He's full of himself, very selfish. An individual who does not take anybody's advice. He makes mistakes and sit in the mistakes, shit in the mistakes, sit in the mistakes, and still think he's intelligent. This is a guy who brings nothing to the table. He being at the front of the NPP does not attract right-thinking, honest, neutral people. No. Because this guy's track record is terrible. And you have in your mic in the Ghana court, CJ Tokonuho, I was Supreme Court over in 24 hours, Tokonu sided with him. These are some of the things he did. Ghana for were like, you are stupid. You cannot take our judiciary for granted. Into the NPP losing elections, the NPP going out of power, this guy, the little month now or spending as the majority leader in parliament, and none of this say party to cry. The party wasn't attractive because Akwawe's actions and utterances, and the gestures and trying to use the courts to overtake the power of the legislature, it made Ghanaians understand that this guy is not the right guy to lead that party. You can see clearly that this guy is just daft. He feels he knows everything, arrogant. Even in opposition, he was still isolating seats. A very selfish leader. He believes to say there are some group of people in the party he has to align himself with. This is a guy who is the lawyer of Kennedy Japan and also a financier of Baumia. How can he lead the party? This guy cannot lead a political party to win power. Into 87, it is going to drop. Now, the honest truth is, Moko Akwetiano, the impact pa na Afro-American as the leader of the minority made when he went there. What impact did he make? Kwasi Ampenyi Sako Kotiti Obi party posters. He's not ripe to lead. He's a backbencher who has to be screaming and making noise. They be just say, shut up. This guy cannot compose himself and lead. This is a guy who slapped a police officer in uniform. He actually punched a police officer in uniform. This guy He's not law abiding. This guy has done everything. Which are and manipe bi onim nyanse bi abeka say we am leader. What makes this guy a leader? A dear example na kwa we Setiama Ghana. He slapped a policeman who's supposed to protect him as a lawmaker. This guy. We sit in that country and we allow fools to lead fools. And it's an MPP na say. As much as I don't like Oseche Mensa Bonsu, nyansa edasa ajimi ni team no akwa we been done team. As much as Oseche Mensa, I don't like him, or a tribal bigot, another very selfish individual. No, Nyan said that it's my idea politics. No, so Jimmy Afenyo, e been done team, and Afenyo cannot maneuver his way. You think Afenyo Markin can convince anybody on the other side to do his bidding? The only thing he can do is to say, "I'll give you money," and when that fails, that's all. When it fails, that's all. So why should a political party that is trying to find itself, that is trying to rebrand itself, that is trying to tell the people that we are not who we used to be, we are a different breed, our face needs to change, why should that political party still have such a careless, callous, arrogant individual leading them in parliament? The party is still the same. Nothing has changed about the NPP in parliament. The face of the party is terrible. Inti Nyansenibia or Ghana Biano will never sit and say, I want Afenyo Markin and give his colleagues power. No, nobody will do that. We're Jimmy Bruta, and these are people we're sitting Ghana. Now Obia Oya lawmaker, what's in sa Ediabo police in the He's a fool. He's a fool because what's in Sabo police in Yasum. Me yes adiero. So Afenyo Markin is a fool who is not supposed to be in parliament. He can take me to any court. A fool like this stretched his hand to hit a law officer, a police officer in uniform. Or bonasum. Kwasia we say, or to parliament or yemra. A Krobian called the jail. A Krobia ye serious and kwasia we called the jail. Yeni so kwasia sam so the CID boss not to or sorry, why no nice girl and kwasia sam not so. This guy is supposed to be standing trial. And the last time I told you the CID boss, as much as I respect you, this fool needs to stand trial. Because if you fail to put this guy before court, then it defeats the purpose of the Ghana Police Service to say, an institution that is independent and an institution that we can respect, say, Ome protect Ghana for. If the CID boss, you are not able to prosecute this guy, put him before court, then you sitting there, you don't need to sit there. You need to walk out and go sit home. Because the Embra is not supposed to be selective. The law is supposed to apply irrespective of which fool is standing before him or her. So the law is not selective. In Tikwasia, he actually slapped a police officer. So what are you doing? And this guy needs to face the law. We are not playing again. Oh. We are not fooling again. Oh. When adults fool, we will tell them in their face they are fooling. So CID boss, with all due respect, do not entertain this foolishness. I respect you a lot. I've given you that room. And you told us that investigations are ongoing. We want to know what has happened to that investigations. A lawmaker breaking the law. A lawmaker punching a police officer in the face. A lawmaker in parliament who is leading a group of lawmakers punches a police officer and nothing is happening. Under John Mahama, under Yohonu, under CID boss, what kind of country are we running? And then to us, what is going on? If I get the opportunity to meet the president, I'll say, Mr. President, you cannot have a lawmaker punch a police officer and tell me you think about the police. Prove to me that you think about the police. The CID boss needs to take this over. He needs to be prosecuted. We need to get to the bottom of this. You cannot tell me you are fighting corruption. Mr. President, you cannot tell me you want to retool the police. You want to help the Ghana Police Service. You want to make the state agency strong. And then a lawmaker punches a police officer and we sit in Ghana and we are speaking grammar. This guy needs to face the law. I have 5 minutes to end tonight's show. The law is the law. Now, won't to me, and so yase maslokofo akonifie, won't to me efa eye maslokofo ka mienu, maslokofo akoje omade. Me say maslokofo say eye won't to me. Okase nyina okobani nyina sana wafa maslokofo ka mienu sinifie. Me na okase won't to me say we are maslokofo ka and the maslokofo so mon saka card. It won't to me die. bibia ko wu ebekra o sorry na o hye Vietnam for Lacoste bi ne nsa na beduru ha na ne kon ne deda ha se de bia onya ne ho Lacoste show de bia se ono na osoa bidie de se bibia ko wu na bekra wu ntumi. Now another story ni Cecilia Dapa and Menoka say yes Cecilia Dapa former sanitation minister Cecilia Dapa invited to CID headquarters to answer questions on oral. Into yasi oral for afre Cecilia Dapa so ombe answer questions be. Cecilia Dapa de baby Cecilia go be a corruption go. Why is it interplast? Well, everywhere water go, interplast go. Cecilia Dapa on the corruption de be a would de atrenchie. Cecilia Dapa Abrowa besiaba o sorry adebi on corruption edi intentenwa on corruption edi eye kwa adebi on corruption edi eye mami odende anywhere corruption go Cecilia Dapa go anywhere water go interplast go Cecilia Dapa ya safre no yesi oral for se ombra questions bi ho be ya no Ghana any Accra aye fin na mami we Ghana ne Accra aye fin and we are trying to make sure we clean Ghana no Nana Dankwa Kufuado I the fuse anyanya nchire ebeka kire say he will make Accra the cleanest city in Africa. Ne fuse syndrome ebeka sankwa say no omutam sika no mudi ye Cecilia Dapa and ye friend say omra na omba dwudwum na yehu eye the course into oral for atom nsa afre Cecilia Dapa say omba dwudwum anywhere Cecilia Dapa go the corruption go everywhere water go interplast go Cecilia Dapa no corruption mame. All right, now this is another story. When you chat for, I got 4 minutes near upon. Abozigia Kasa and Baumia say Mahamudu one a ye atasa atasa ne Mahamudu when yom habutra Kennedy ni Mahamudu when yom habutra. Now last time Busa say Mahmoud Baumia, one and a permanent idea man. Baumia, I tell an even a permanent idea man. Because minim Andrew said, who saw a shot at say chef of what idea said. Minim say shirt no a tricotesu, say a for topu. I am not one and a pamba umiantad, tell an even a pamba umiantad man. One and a pam aquawe, one and a pamba umiantad man. Because a dibio beshebe size boom on shadia man and dan honda. Say the food in the dian tro, said dear you. Say, Debio Buba, maybe I say, I saw a clerk. Debio when I a Pentecost clerk be, as I say, the one born clerk. Summary. Oh, sorry, I know pam 100 million at Adiashe. A power slim. What power be so true in Namgana, Echuanim. Also, no, Wama Ukru, what does a clerk, Pentecost for clerk in Namgana, did question. 1 year Pama going Tadiaman. Where a shirt and I say a long sleeve and I say a chef for Tadia. A year do go to get into any Majana and I say some American Chilango for so with a Mumpim be Mano Jimmy, mean Tiasie. Because the tailor in a bar ever soon, edit tape to and measure. Menya sure say because long sleeves national yin a better answer. Into the I say, I say Pentecost clerk be Pentecost clerk. I just say, na samre into uton to man uto be mana enyana. Samre utela ni into to pambi bi ma agui. Debiano wa dress the okoji eye okoji tankers fosika bibi basa wonwan. Minim say and the monto says just the food in tran as a dean. And I see be on antintra. At the step of me pa, I don't know how me pa because they be a member maybe I said there's something off. Yes, kusibuati tail and a pamata dear mano. Na kusibuati on the more such a dear, kusibuata sapojini. And nuntra. Yes, kusibuati tail and in a pamata dear mabaumia. Now you kusibuati never baumia, but kusibuati why is a Malcolm standing fan? Why you could see original? Also come Malcolm, almost Toshiba standing fan be ho. I just kusibuati I the cathedral. Now, Mama Jum, honey and pong. I'm about 2 minutes with the Jum, with that. Intiminjai, oh, bodam. Now, look at this. Aya abozege last hour, moment from woman upon with your bending. It was not my fault the NPP lost the 2024 elections. This is clearly stated in both the Mike Okwe and Che Mensa Bunsu report. But Omia say, wouldn't be organized as Okana Santimemu. Me catch that say. NPP mu, Obia Peso Jimmy Kasa Okana Santimemu. Obia Peso Jimmy or NPP mu bia Ekan Kwasia Kasa Eda Danipa no Asantimemu no Kokano. Oh, so Okano, or say it is clearly stated in both the Mike Okwe report and Che Mensa report. Onim say Omo Jino Menimu Asante Adansia Sokwa Ekasomon Kinkai. Me say, who MPP ni a we Jimmy Osaya Santinia. Now who what three Cobra three mantam MPP ni no. Na sa MPP no one mantam na obetima pepa de 2 bini edi. MPP ni a we Jimmy. Ah Osaya Santini. Me say, oh maybe okojina ka asem no because odim say omo gina nim delegates na omo asantime mu no. Omo ntumi kan en kron kenkan. Musa dan kwa aka. Omo jiru JSS na omo wie. It was say me enya me photo any lose elections no. And so no catch Ghana for say on any policies here they call election nim. On any year manifesto or they call election nim. On no asem na Ghana for also mutie to Abama no. Or lose election now catch them say the fault. Na why fault? Asimesi etro manifesto be kind manifesto be 3 hours say nyan say dan trimunie. Na no asem nie. Mon first year ne ma no. Mon hwe ho na mo ma no na nim nyansa. Yenti na no asem yentoma no na nipa de tie wa no asem ye no mu so wagimi no manto ama wa afere o ka che se enya wo fault enti na mo lose election na ehwana fault ehwana fault it won who steady nkofo we ya maka kire wo se ba omia omumbu asantifo no sa asem we okay oduru ho a ontumi kan wo ontumi kan kira wonafo awunani a kenkan ti ase because it is not my fault otu one go say oh please you say oh effort zoka also I am sorry my brother I know you are talking when we read the report in fact our constituency chairman brought the report what we find out that it was your fault we the Voltarians we can read and we can write awunani be kan report na busa questions tani no be kenkan we mu no mo kenkan into agogina dance atokwa uko kan report na why na go kan report no me say who MPP ni a wagimi a osaye ede asantini a sebio uhu na mantam ne bodan mu uhu one wo wa mantam no deja wo no because an MPP ni na oya asantini a wasa ejimi no sa wo gya na obetima tene tu bi edi ebi na ba omi ade ye omo no wedwa hey can we tell her yenti ase wo bodam ochina me girem ye badwudwam ama Ghana fo hu no kura no abotwe
okay. So, of course, me we say man could be commenting about some of the words which was used. Yes, someone words in there. If it is vulgar, yes, so your power chow. But then ultimately, news and the news no Kevin Taylor and some more car about a year after your markings and channel non resigning, and we have to play his own words to effect statement ayeka. To use it as a backing evidence and as to cite so so this is where we will draw the curtains Sunday edition. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. May God richly bless you and have a wonderful day, and also may this week I ban manning very blissful to all.